Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live on a sunny, not so sunny Wednesday afternoon, slightly earlier than I normally do it, just because I'm meeting an old friend for lunch. So I'm doing it a little bit earlier. So as always, I'm going to just share everything, but we're going to talk about cash flow and no-shows today. And the impact deposits can have on that. So if you don't take deposits or you just want to know a bit more about how that affects cash flow, then please stay on and watch this till the very end, because lots of comments come through and it will help. Even if you take deposits, I would still listen to the chat today because it'll help. You might just get a little gem of information that you didn't think of. So if you stay tuned whilst I just do my usual admin, and then we'll get cracking. Wishing the weather would actually pick up, but we'll get there. Nearly there, guys. I want to know, actually, I would like to know if you were on last week. One of our lovely listeners had someone, we were talking about lateness and stuff, and we had someone that actually turned up late, and we were all egging her on to make sure you've got your T's and C's and your boundaries and charge them for being late. So I don't know if she's listening today. If you are, please let us know how you got on with that and if you've implemented anything since that chat. Over the last sort of 5 weeks, we've been chatting about pricing, boundaries, your diary, clients, and we've had a lot of brilliant feedback on those, and so many people have upped their prices, which is fabulous. Some people have looked at their numbers and printed their bank statements out and had a look to see what it is they're actually spending money on. Even if you take the tiniest thing from these lives, then that's what it's there for, is to do that. So hopefully they are helping, or if you just like to listen to my dulcet tones on a Wednesday, then even better. For those of you who might be new to listening to these, my name is Vicky, and I'm one half of the Pet Accountant. I started the Pet Accountant back in 2021, and we are still going strong 4 or 5 years later. So thank you to you guys. In these podcasts, we just want to help you. That's simply it, and make the industry better. Bubbles Dog Creaming. I had 2 people turn up late Friday, charged them both £5 per 15 minutes. Yes, absolutely love it. Love it. And the thing is, you might just think, oh, it's only a £5, or it's only £10, I'll just let them off. The problem is, if you add that £10 up, however many times a week it happens, times that by 12, you're actually missing out on so much money. And I think once it's written down, you think, oh, shit. I had a non-pet client, a joiner friend of mine, who's coming on board with us. And he was talking about that he had no cash flow and stuff like that. And then I found out actually through having a conversation with him that he was doing odd jobs for people, 20 minutes here, half an hour there, and he wasn't charging them for it. And I said, but if you charged a call-out fee, let's just say 50 quid, which a lot of tradesmen do, and then you times that by how many times you do that in a month, and then times that by 12 months for the year, you're actually missing out. And I think it worked out with 3 or 4 grand a year, which is a massive chunk of money. And it's the same with any industry, whether you're a dog trainer, walker, boarder, joiner, whatever. All these £5, £10, £20 that you implement will make a massive difference to your back pocket, because firstly, they won't do it again because you've charged them once and they're probably going, oh shit, that's cost an extra 20 quid, I'm not going to do that again. So that way it'll stop your no-shows as well. So all of these lives that we've done aren't just random ones that I plucked out of thin air. They all interlink with each other. So we'll always reference other elements like price and boundaries and things like that. And it's all about just making your business more sustainable. As an accountant, we see lots of businesses close down. And that, again, is not because there's not enough dogs or enough animals to service 20 dog walkers in the area or 50 groomers in the area. It comes down to your figures. It's as simple as that. Figures, boundaries, your pricing. I had a conversation with a client the other day, bless her, who is struggling and burnt out. And then when I asked her how much she charged for the various different services, it was too low. And we always hear across the groups, yeah, but what, I can't charge that in this area, or I'm the most expensive, or I can't do that. I think Charlotte Perrott had put a post up recently where she was in part of a group with like millionaires or run by a millionaire, and they were saying the same thing. Oh, I can't charge that. And I think it's just a mindset issue across the board. But as pet business owners, I feel like you guys get hit it the most because of that emotional attachment and emotional connection with the animals. So all these podcasts, everything that I talk about is just to try and strengthen your business and to make it sustainable over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, however long that you want it, and to make sure that it grows and that you're making money from what you do. And I've said the phrase, you're not a charity, to about 10 clients over the last couple of weeks, because they've all said to me, oh, but I can't do that. Oh, no, but the client's really old, or, the client's been with me for 5 years. I can't do that. You can. It's all about a mindset issue. And that's going to make a massive, massive difference to your bottom line, back pocket. So, rant over. We're going to talk about cash flow and deposits. Now, I know deposits maybe, I would say, is a 50-50 thing with the people that I talk to. 50% of them do it, 50% of them don't. And I think, can it depend on what it is you do? Potentially. But I think for anyone who's selling a slot, so a dog walker, a groomer, a trainer, even a boarder, if you're giving slots away to customers, then why not charge them a deposit? Because everywhere else that we go, we get charged a deposit, or we have to pay in full. I'm getting married in July, and all of the people that we've had to secure a slot for, we've had to pay a deposit up front. And that just secures their time. So to give you an example, spoke to a client last week, and after the conversation, we'd figured out that in a month, through sort of no-shows and last-minute cancellations, she lost £1,200. Now, that is quite a sizable figure, and she didn't know that was the figure until we'd actually sat down and figured it out. And I think that's half the battle, is you in your head, you're like, oh, it's just one no-show or just one cancellation. But actually, when you add them up and you see the figure written down, so you're going to hear me open my drink, it hits you more. So it's £1,200. And that's, it's not because they weren't busy, not because they weren't good, not because the clients didn't, love them. It's because they didn't take deposits. If that person had taken deposit, those no-shows and last-minute cancellations, that figure would be 0 or a hell of a lot less. So it's just literally a tiny tweak. So I would like, if you don't take deposits, actually, before we even go into that, let me know, as a few of you watching, if the people that are watching, whether you take deposits or not. And then if you just type in the word deposit in the comments to let me know whether you do take them, or just put no deposit. Just type it in for those of you who are listening, just to let me know how many actually do take deposits and who doesn't. If you wouldn't mind popping them in the comments for me, that would be fabulous, just to give me an idea. Yay, Chalford Pet Stop does deposits, fabulous. Love it. Anyone else want to own up or not own up, whether they do deposits or not? I think it's just one of those things that's maybe 50-50. But if you don't, and you've had cancellations or you've had no-shows, if you just times that by what your average appointment price is, and then, so if you say you had 10 no-shows in the month and your average appointment price is £60, 10 times 60, that is how much you'll have lost in that month. And actually, when you see it written down, it does make a hell of a lot of difference. So I've got new clients, not old, just had a no-show 11:30. So is that no-show a new client or an old client? And if so, if they're a new client, are you going to charge them for that no-show? Melanie's put no deposit. Claire, I don't, but I would if I had issues. Yeah, look, you might be really fortunate where you have a lot of clients that actually don't not show up, in which case, do you need to implement it? No. Would I implement it for new clients? 100%, because you don't know what they're like at that point. Unless you know them prior, you wouldn't know. So any new clients, Claire, would you potentially do a deposit, because it might be that after the first few times and there isn't any issues, you could take that away if you wanted to. But I would definitely, with new clients, do a deposit just to make sure, because if they immediately go, oh, well, I don't want to pay that, I'm not paying you a deposit, then there's your first red flag. And I'd be like, well, if you're not prepared to pay, why? So maybe new clients, it could be a thing that you take deposits for. Non-refundable 50%, great. Sarah said we don't. Becky, I'm not a groom, I'm a walker, but any cancellations on the day or the night before, I charge the full amount of the rope. Fabulous. Because the thing is, if they cancel the night or the day before, it doesn't give you much chance to then fill that slot. So then why should you miss out on that money because they've decided to cancel for whatever reason? So 100% Becky. Old clients, I'm going to charge and ask for next payment in advance too. Yeah. And it just shows them, if they do it once and you go, right, well, I'm going to charge you for that, and actually for the next one I want money up front, automatically you're setting that boundary. And then at least they know that they can't mug you off again, and they're less likely to do it because it's costing them money. Mel's put will be implemented for new clients soon. Perfect. Make sure you've got those terms and conditions written down and they sign them so that they know there's going to be a charge. All my regulars are on a schedule for the year, and they know if they miss it, they have to wait for the dog's next slot, so they never do it. I'm lucky they value staying with me, so won't jump to the groomers. But I also do tell people I won't take grooming hoppers. Fab. So it's all security for me. And also, Claire, have you thought about maybe putting the regular ones on like a direct debit? You can use things like Go Cardless, where you can put them on a direct debit, so you're definitely getting that money without having to chase for it. Just a thought. I'm in a franchise that doesn't take a deposit. We have a clause where payment is due 7 days before the service starts and a 7-day cancellation period. However, sometimes people don't pay and then cancel a few days before the service is due to start. It's really hard to then get them to pay. Could you, Sarah, and I don't know obviously what franchise it is, but could you say, like, could you implement a deposit scheme, how, like, for your business? I know it's part of a franchise, or do they have a policy where you can't do that? If it's a case of they have a policy where you can't do it, then I would be speaking to the franchisor and asking them to put deposits in place, because you're losing out money with no shows or people cancelling a couple of days before. It's definitely worth a chat. I wouldn't just sit and suffer in silence. If I owned a franchise and people asked me to do that so you can protect your income, then I'd 100% do that. So just double check with them if it's a them thing. If it's not and you can do it, then just start doing it and taking money in advance, and then you eradicate that issue and wouldn't get transaction fee. Yeah, it depends if the bit. I mean, Go Cardless does take a small amount as a transaction fee, but it's pennies. You're not talking like pounds. But I'm just thinking from a cash flow perspective, Claire, if you're getting people to pay on a direct debit, you know you're going to get that money, and you're not waiting on them to pay. I will ask the franchisor whether this is something that we could start to implement. It doesn't happen often, but I've had it before. And that's this very sentence, Sarah, that everyone says, oh, but it doesn't happen often. But if you add up those not often moments, they will probably add up to, like in this case, 1,200 quid. It's, you forget, you might get another month in and someone does it again, and another month in, someone does it again. And then this is why it ties into cash flow, because you can't have a steady cash flow if you've got people cancelling left, right, and centre, and that you're not collecting the money for that, which is why it interlinks. So I would definitely ask them, see what they say, because one time too many. If that's a, I don't know, what is it you do, dog? I don't know, did he tell me what he did? What is it you do? You might have thought he said dog walker, but maybe I just read that wrong. But yeah, definitely ask them, because like I say, you will also be able to identify who the best clients are. Because if I went somewhere and they said you need to pay a deposit, say I took Frank to get his nails done or whatever, and they said, right, you need a deposit, and I was like, yeah, cool, there's 20 quid, whatever it is, fine. If I'm a hopper or I'm price driven and I go somewhere and you say, right, you have to pay a 50% deposit, and I go, oh, I'm not paying that, then you automatically know they're going to be a difficult customer. So it's an immediate red flag. And I would say if they're not prepared to give you a deposit, then don't take them on, because they're the ones that are more likely to cancel or rearrange or not show up. Cat sitter, yeah. So that could be like a week's worth of sitting that they've cancelled on, which is a lot of money. And I know you're saying it only happens once or twice, but that's like that once or twice could equate to £1,000. I mean, I don't know what your charges are. Is it the cat butler, Sarah? Popular with the cat butlers, if it is, just curious. So yes, calculate how many no-shows, cancellations that you've had, times it by your average appointment price, and then that will show you how much money that you're losing, and where you're. Yeah, it is a cat butler. Yes. So yeah, just do that. See how much you're losing every month, because that is where the cash flow is leaking, and it's not rude or horrible to ask for a deposit. And I think, again, it comes down to we're such nice people, and pet business owners are genuinely nice, and they just don't like asking for money. So yeah, do that little sum for me. If anyone wants to put on here like how much they've lost or how many no-shows they've had, feel free. It's a safe environment that we are in. We have nothing but love in this group. So again, it's like I said to you before, I do find it's a bit of a mindset issue, and most pet professionals think a no-show just means, well, I've lost a couple of quid or I've lost some money, but you've got to look at it from a business perspective and look at it like it's not just money, it's time you can't refill. If they just tell you the night before or the day of, how can you then refill that appointment? You can't. So it's time you can't refill. If you've got staff, the staff are still getting paid regardless of whether these customers turn up or not. So then it's staff wages you've got to think of. It's energy, your own energy and stress of having to then try and find someone to fill that slot, or just getting stressed because they've done it and then you're not charging for it. It ruins your flow, your momentum of the day, because then you're having to try and go, oh, for God's sake, Sandra's bloody cancelled, now I'm going to fill that spot. And also it becomes a bit of a confidence knock, because you're a bit like, oh no, they've done it, maybe they don't finally want to do, and now I can't, I don't want to implement the charges. And it has a knock-on effect. So it's not just the revenue part of it, which obviously is huge, but you've also got to look at it from the other side, about the time, the stress, the fact your staff are still being paid, and that you can't refill that spot. And it makes things unpredictable, which is why when I talked last week about boundaries, or the week before, why boundaries are so important, because if you set them, then the clients won't try and mess with you, because they know if they do, they're going to get charged for it. So I don't want people sitting there thinking, oh God, I hope everyone turns up today. Okay, because then that's not a stable, sustainable business if you're sat there thinking that. So if that ever crosses your mind, you know that you've got to do something either with your boundaries, with your terms and conditions, or with that client. So we need to be running the diary on structure and not a wing and a prayer. I sell a deposit ID as security for them as well as me. Yeah, you could say, I'm a very popular dog groomer, I'm a very popular dog walker. In order to secure your spot, you need to pay me 50% deposit. So again, it looks from their point of view that, oh God, yeah, I need to pay this, otherwise I'm going to lose my spot. Yeah, like that space is yours. That's a good way to do it. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So then it looks from your point of view that, you're very busy, you're very popular, and actually to secure your spot, you need to pay me a 50% deposit. And all businesses should be doing that. I mean, we do it. We've changed the way that we work, and we only take on a certain amount of people per month. Whereas last time we would just say yes to everybody, and it's not a good plan. So now we've become very strict on who we take on, and we only take on a number of people a month. So when we send a proposal to new clients, we say to them, you've got 48 hours to sign up as a client. If you don't sign up within those 48 hours, then your slot may be given to someone else. So it's the same premise, and that gives us more structure and Tegan more time to be able to fill our diary. Because we get a lot of people that ring up that just want advice. Even though it says on the Calendly we can't give advice, we still get 50 people a day calling up asking for advice. So it's all about your boundaries and structure. Claire, I'm thinking that now, waiting for my 12th client. So yes, think of the cost of the no-shows, the fact that it isn't just a revenue thing, it's a time thing. And again, links back to your ideal client, links back to sorting your diary out. And again, I say this all the time, I think everything links back to mindset. And because you guys are such nice people, it makes it more awkward. And I'm the worst person because I hate having awkward conversations. But you've got to think of the deposits, like Chalfont, Petstop has said, that they're not a penalty, okay? It's more, you're showing me your commitment by giving me this 50% deposit or whatever it is that you do. Okay, airlines take full payment up front. Hotel bookings take your card details. Okay, dentists take deposits. And why is that? Why, if they can all do that, why can't we do it? Like, why can't you guys take deposit? What makes them different? Just because they might be like an airline and they're like a multi-trillion-dollar pound bloody business doesn't mean that you guys can't take deposits, because it secures that commitment from the client from day one. And also because your time is inventory, and once it's gone, it's gone. And I think I said this in one of the other podcasts. Once that hour slot is gone, it's gone. You can't fill that back. So that's 60 quid potentially lost, or £100 lost, depending on what it is that you do. They are here. Have a great day, guys. Della, someone's just tagging someone. We'll have fun, Claire, and we'll catch up with you in a bit. So yeah, just because, you don't see it as a penalty, don't see it as or you punishing your clients by asking for a deposit. It secures their commitment, it secures your time, and why not do it? And also it's going to improve your cash flow. So again, you can't refill that spot, which is why deposits are so important. Your appointment slot, again, is perishable. If someone cancels last minute, you can't store at 2 p.m. on a Thursday and sell it next week. Yeah. Once it's gone, it is gone. We can't go back to it. We can't sell it later on because it's gone. So doing that deposits protects your inventory, protects your business, and it's not emotional. So just take the emotion out of it. If you struggle with the deposits, it's not a system issue, it's a confidence issue. And we've all just got to build that confidence to say, these are my boundaries, these are my T's and C's. I take deposits, and that is the bottom line, because I'm running a business and that's what I want to do. And if clients don't want to do it, let them go to someone else who doesn't want to do it. Laura, I now take full payment up front for our cat sitting bookings to secure the dates. Perfect. We've got a rigid cancellation policy, and providing they give a week's notice, we credit the unused visits minus a small admin fee. Perfect. Perfect, Laura. And I bet you probably don't get that many people that cancel or do it last minute because of those strict boundaries. Be interesting to know, Laura, if you don't mind sharing that. Charlotte, if they cancel, should you give it back? I've always thought it's a grey area whether they are refundable or not. If this is where the policies come in, Charlotte, because like a few people have said, if your policy is if you cancel within 48 hours, then there's no penalty. But if you cancel last minute, then I'm 100% keeping your deposit. So it depends on your terms and conditions. Some people might do it that way, where they say, right, I'm taking your 50% deposit. If you cancel or change it within 48 hours, I can roll that deposit onto the next one, or you can have that deposit back. Some people, if they just cancel without any notice on the day, then no, they definitely don't get it back. Why would you give them the money back? Because you can't then fill that slot. But again, it comes down to your terms and conditions. If you've got in there, I require 50% deposit, and that is non-refundable deposit, then it's non-refundable, you don't give it back. But if they're cancelling on you last minute and not within the 48 hours, if that's the rule that you have, then that's the whole point of a deposit, is that you don't give them that back. Is they've cancelled, they lose it, they lose the deposit, end of. Does that make sense, Charlotte? Unless I've not followed, just let me know. Yeah, we don't get many cancellations, and fine clients are serious and sort their side out, so we rarely get any faffing. Exactly, and I know I've gone slightly off topic with the whole boundaries thing, but this is why it's so important, because once you set those boundaries and you stick to them, people won't mess with you. They'll understand, and you will get the clients that are committed to being with you and are good clients. And the deposit thing does weed them out. No, I don't refund. Occasionally I give them a credit valid for 12 months, but only if they are good clients. Yes, I asked for 24-hour cancellation. All walks are paid a month in advance, but cat visits only 2 days before the visit starts. So if you take the money in advance, Charlotte, and you have a cancellation policy like you do, and if they cancel within the 24 hours, so they're not giving you 24 hours notice, and then no, they don't get the money back. But it's all about writing your T's and C's out and getting them to sign it and explain to them. So obviously it'd be hard to implement that if you haven't written it down or got anything for them to sign. It's about being strict. We don't give them the money back. Why would we give them the money back? We have a strict T's and C's policy as well. So if clients after 6 months, they decide actually they want to do it themselves or they want to go somewhere else, then we have clear T's and C's that the money that they paid is non-refundable. And that's because of our admin time. They may have rang up quite a few times within that 6-month period and asked for a certain amount of advice. So it's our time. So we have clear terms and conditions that if you cancel and there's not any extenuating circumstances, then you don't get your money back. It's non-refundable. And then people generally don't query it because it's written in the terms and conditions. They can't argue with it. They've signed them. They should have read them. And it's the same with any business. It doesn't matter that I'm an accountancy firm and you're a dog walker. It's the same premise. But that's why I said last week, we've got to have those terms and conditions written and make sure that the clients are aware of them. I still get the odd client asking if they can just swap to next week if they cancel, but then messes my diary. I'm too lenient at times. Yeah, because they might see it as a small thing that we'll just push Frank's walk to next week, but then that's £30 you've missed out this week that you could have filled. So it's 30 quid you've lost. So I would say no. If you move, you forfeit that spot. You pay the deposit. We've got to get away of the fear behind taking them, because if you're worried that they won't book or they'll go somewhere cheaper or they'll leave a bad review or it feels awkward, this is where it links back to then they're not the right client for you. It's a red flag. Just let them go. And then once you do that with one, you'll be fine doing it for the next, because otherwise it's just lost money and you're getting someone to fill those slots up that then cancel that could have been filled with someone else. And like I said before, you can't refill that. So that is why the deposits are so good, because A, it filters out the real clients and the good clients, and B, it helps your cash flow because you're still getting cash on that day. If you plan your cash flow on the week's appointments that you've got coming up, and you say, right, I'm going to have this money, this money, this money, I'll put that in that pot, that in that pot, that in that pot, and then 4 people cancel, and that's £200 that you now don't have, you're thinking, shit, now how can I pay that because I haven't got that £200? Whereas if you're taking the deposits, at least you've got that money or some money in that pot, so it's not going to feel as stressful. And this is why deposits are important. A, because it weeds out the bad clients, and B, because it helps your cash flow. And this is what we need, is cash flow, because then that's going to make you less stressed. You're going to be able to pay your bills on time, and everything will just go smoothly. So that's what we need to do. Cash comes in earlier, income becomes more predictable because clients aren't leaving, cancellations drop because they don't want to lose the money. People do not want to lose money for nothing. You know, I've done something where I've had to pay a deposit to go for dinner, and then I've thought, I can't be asked to go now, but I paid a deposit and I ain't going to lose that 20 quid, so I'm going to go. It's the same thing. People don't want to lose money. So even a 25% deposit will change people's behaviour, okay? And instead of everything just happening at once and you sort of going from day to day, you can start building that income ahead of time, going, well, I know all these clients now aren't going to mess me about. And if they do, I've got that money sitting there as a buffer. So it just helps a lot of issues. We have calmer decisions. We have a lot more money running through the business. You're less stressed. You're less burnt out. We're not trying to fill appointments that we can't fill now because someone's cancelled last minute. If they complain, they complain. Just let them get on with it. At the end of the day, like someone said, it is securing their slot. So that's how you can spin it. We're securing your slot with me. No apology, nothing. To secure your appointment, we take X% deposit. This protects our diary and ensures availability for all clients. That's all you have to say. And I've wrote this down in my notes, and I'm just going to put it in here. Put it in there. That's all you've got to say. So the key appointment will take X% deposit. This protects our diary and ensures availability for all clients. Bosh, done. Laura, with walking and daycare, we say no swapping days in lieu. No. If they want different days, they have to book them separately. Our daycare and walking clients also pay for unused spaces to maintain them, as we don't take ad hoc clients. Perfect. There we go. If you're sitting there thinking, oh God, you don't need to jump at 100% up front straight away. You can do, like I said before, you can do deposits for new clients only. You could do deposits for peak days. So it could be a Saturday or a bank holiday or Christmas holidays. You could do a 25% booking deposit, or you can do card details required to secure a slot if you use a card machine. But again, you've got to have these terms and conditions written up as well. Communicate it clearly, put it in writing, and update your booking confirmation, okay? And like I said to you on the last one, boundaries only work if you enforce them. If you don't enforce them, it's pointless. If you don't follow through with it, your clients are just going to do it time and time again, not because they're horrible people, it's just because you've allowed them to do it. So subconsciously they're like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm late, I'll just cancel, she's not going to charge me. It was in her terms and conditions, but she hasn't, so I'll just do it again. So all linked, terms and conditions, get it written up, get them signed. And if you're not taking deposits and you're finding that you have a lot of no-shows, then that is a perfect sign for you to start taking deposits. Like Claire said, she has a lovely group of clients that none of them mess her about. And that's fine, you don't have to. But I would be doing it for new clients because you don't know what they're like. You've never met them before. They could be good, in which case you do a few, and then you go, actually, this person's sound, I'm not going to do the deposits anymore, and they don't mess you about. But if you don't want to pay the deposit, then you know straight away they're going to be awkward. And like we said last week, we don't want awkward clients. We just don't. So if cash flow is stressing you out and you're not taking deposits, that will potentially solve that issue, because you're still getting money even though people cancel or change the date or don't show up. Okay, so calculate how many no-shows you have, times it by your average price of whatever it is that you do, and that is how much money you'll lose. And that could be money in your back pocket that you could go and spend on a holiday, on a night out, or a weekend away, or whatever. So please go and have a look at that. Think about your deposit structure if you are going to implement it. Like I said, you don't need to do 100% straight off the bat. You could do 10%, 20%, 25%. And again, that's just going to solve your cash flow issue, and it will solve the clients messing you about, because no one wants to lose even £10. No one will want to do it. So please, 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 your homework for today, if you do implement deposits, fab. Are you enforcing them? Are you giving it back? Maybe you need to tighten up your boundaries. Have you adapted your terms and conditions but not actually updated them, got clients to sign? You might have had clients that have been with you for years. Maybe do an updated one. If you have new clients, give them a deposit straight off the bat so that you know you've got that money secured, and that will help your cash flow and you will be less stressed. If the big companies can do it, why can't you guys do it? And the reason they do that is because of cash flow. It makes perfect sense. Why would you not take money off for an appointment that you cannot refill? You can only have that one appointment. No one else can then fill it. So why not charge for it? So that's where you've got to think is, I'm not being horrible. I'm protecting my business. I'm giving myself more cash to work with, which will ultimately mean I'm less stressed. And the clients will get the hint and they'll stop doing it. And then we will have a lovely, stress-free, to a point, business. And this is why I'm doing all of these podcasts, is because everyone will say, we're so soft in the pet industry and no one respects what we do, which they don't. And I get it. Like, I didn't understand what groomers did until I went and watched Tegan groom 2 cockapoos, or what I think they were cockapoos, for like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And I was like, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, what the hell? So this is how we do it, is respecting the boundaries, putting in your T's and C's, asking for deposits, protecting your cash flow, and having your business more of a business, and stop being soft, because people are soft. My clients rang up over the last few weeks and said, oh, but this, oh, but that, oh, but this person, oh, but that person. And I keep saying, you're not running a charity, guys, and you're stressing that you've got no money. Put your prices up at least once a year. I saw someone on Facebook the other day, it hadn't put the prices up in 3 years. everything else is going up and your prices are staying the same, you're going to lose money year on year. Like, there's no doubt about it. You have to put them up every year. Do it at the same time every year so that your clients get used to it. Oh, Vicky's going to put prices up in April. She does it every year. So they get into that mindset. Any questions, pop them into the comments, and I'll answer them throughout the day. I know this has feel like a bit of a rushed one, just because I'm a bit pushed for time. But make sure you follow the Pet Accountant on the podcast on Spotify, and you will get an update of when these come out, just in case you miss it. I know we do them at lunchtime, which is a bit of an obscure time, but I know a lot of you listen to it after the fact. So put, write replay in the comments if you listen to this afterwards. Share ideas with each other, because we're all in the same boat. So if you're sharing the ideas, it might be someone goes, oh, actually, I really like that from Charlotte. I'm going to implement that. And then we can all make the businesses better. So yeah, help each other. We've got our Pet Pro Expo first workshop coming up this week, which I'm very excited about tomorrow. So I'm going to be hosting a workshop with the ticket holders of this year's expo. You can still grab the tickets at petproexpo.co.uk if you want a ticket, and you can be on the workshop tomorrow. And the new website will be getting launched very soon for that, which I'm excited about. And obviously you can come and see us at Crufts. So you can buy expo tickets at Crufts. Come and say hello, come and have a bit of a glass of fizz. Romney's with us on the Thursday, so if you want any pension, income protection questions, then make sure you come and see us on Thursday, because Romney's going to be there with us then. We might have a few goodies to give away. So just, make sure you come and see us, Hall 1, stand 72. And just come and say hello, client or non-client. We welcome everybody. And I will be back next week for another podcast. We're probably going to do goal setting next week, because I think that's also really important. But again, anything you want us to talk about, please let me know. You can DM me directly if there's any topics you want me to go over. And yes, just keep your eyes peeled on the podcast, and keep contributing in the group, and just let us know if you listen to this on replay and whether you take a deposit or not. Have a good rest of your week. Making Tax Digital is coming up soon. We are going to do a webinar on that either at the end of this month or the beginning of next month, or maybe after Crufts. Potentially, I forgot, Crufts is literally in a couple of weeks. But we are going to do an MTD seminar, which will give you the details too on that. So thank you for listening. I did go slightly off topic on tangent on this one. So I will try and keep on track for the next one. But you have fun, make lots of money, set those boundaries with those clients, and we will catch up everyone next week. Thank you so much for listening. And I'll catch you guys soon. Bye.